Yep. Other student is just coming. Okay. We got Lily, we got Nara, we got Lisa, we got Leo, we got Mateo, um, and Shirley as well. So this time, firstly, I want to talk about one of the best the most imaginative ones that I've ever read. That is from Lily. So maybe let's look at Lily's homework first. Even though Lily made a lot of basic grammar errors, but in terms of the text structure and readability, I think it's the best. So let's have a look. Um, you guys can learn from each other. Maybe your grammar is better. Maybe Leo's vocabulary is great. But I think all of you guys can learn from each other. So I hope you guys can learn from Lily's imagination. Let's have a look, okay? A lovely sunny day, Luna and Amy are playing at Amy's house. Are playing, probably if I were you, I would say were playing. While they're playing the truth or dare, I think truth or dare need to be capitalized. They saw, and while they were playing truth or dare, they saw an empty box near them. You don't say is. They saw, you say they saw that an empty box was near them. So you just say they saw an empty box near them. Have you ever seen it before? Did you ever see it before? Normally, it's all about tenses. You should have used, have you ever seen it before? Asked Luna. No, I don't remember I have this box. Firstly, this is weird, isn't it? Right? How could you possibly have a box out of nowhere, out of the blue? Both of them touched. This is a story that happened in the past. That's better for you to say. Touched. Uh, is Shelly here yet? Oh, don't worry. Um, both of them touch the box at the same time. Things beside them change immediately, but they didn't notice. After they finished their game, they found out that everything has changed. So if I were you, I would say that, or everything had changed. So what happened? Luna screamed. Um, with her eyes covered. Um, mm, mm, yeah. Okay, Shelly is back. Move on. What happened? Lisa screamed. With eyes covered. I don't know. Amy wide-eyed. With Amy wide-eyed and at a loss. Actually, this is a nice grammar. Probably Lily learned something from what we taught last time. This is not a complete sentence. With Amy, an adjective, wide-eyed, and then a phrase at a loss. That's totally fine. But I think it's a dog key. Get uh, get us to another another. So here there shouldn't be any space between a and n. Another dimension. Beautiful. This is ridiculous. Luna waved. Something happened in the past. Her hand and then closed her eyes. There was a toy bear coming. The toy bear was coming and said hello to them. It is a dream, both girls said at the same time. No, it's not. The toy bear smiled. This is your world. You can do whatever you want. The girls look around. This is their dream world. They forgot the scary bear or something, or the fear immediately and started play. While Luna is making a cake with sugar, chocolate, marshmallow, and tomato and potato pasta. She saw everything cute and beautiful change into scary monsters. So everything changed back. It's like nothing had happened. But Luna knows she saw the real world. The world are just monsters wanting. So how will you say wanting to eat them? Luna told Amy the reality. They act like playing and move to the donkey, casually, like nothing had happened um, at the moment. At that moment, so suddenly, abruptly, they both touched the door key. They saw the monster running to them, but they fled back to the real world just in time, narrowly. Oh my God, so close. Luna let out a sigh of relief. Let's play outside, okay? Both girls, the two girls, went outside. Didn't notice the box was moving without realizing that the box was trembling or something. So oblivious to the fact that box was moving. So you guys can understand, right? So firstly, a box just stay there. They don't know why. And then finally, those monsters try to chase them, hunt them down or something. And then I think the setting was perfect. I think the story is fantastic. Despite many basic grammar errors, you have a huge potential in English writing. I cannot wait to read your next story. Grammar errors can be avoided by memorizing and reciting, new concept in book two and book three stories, because each story has some particular grammar point. Tenses need to be consistent, spelling need to be precise. Keep reading, and I'll go to your huge progress. Yeah, this is from Lily. You know, this is kind of unexpectedness that I've been talking about all the time. This is like watching a movie, isn't it? Like a horror movie. I didn't realize the box was moving, shaking at the same time. Um, Probably you guys want to see um, the story that I came up myself, even last week, right? For example, the box. So probably you guys want, hey, Robert, I didn't see your version of the box and your version of the radish, right? Last time, because of the time constraint, I didn't have enough time to read to you the story that I made myself. Now, let me show you about the radish that I wrote myself. Okay. Amy, dinner time. Amy, dinner time. Would you like to try this radish? I asked lovingly, gazing at my daughter. Nah, I don't like it. My daughter rejected, without even looking at it at all. Can you put away your toys? I asked. It's like some burglars have just sneaked in and tried to scour some valuables in your room. Nah, I want to watch TV, my daughter replied, turning on the TV with the remote in her hand and gazing at the OLED TV screen unblinkingly. I shook my head and sighed. If I were Professor McGonagall, I would turn her into lazy radish, Um, I think a lot of you guys know Harry Potter. That's why I used the example Professor McGonagall, because you can, transform into a cat or something. Just at that moment, the doorbell rang. I headed to the door only to find a beggar who wanted to ask for a meal. I fetched him some Tasmanian cherries, some quality cherries, the millimeter like a 32 to 34, really huge ones, juicy ones, and dainty pastries. To my surprise, before I went back to my room, he told me that he could grant me one wish. Could you turn my daughter into a radish for 1 hour? I asked tentatively. Of course, he replied, smiling. Then he took out a wand and whispered some spell, and instantly my daughter was transformed to a lazy radish leaning to a blue china bowl. I was shocked and impressed. I took out my phone and started to shoot a video. But when I turned around, the mysterious beggar just vanished without any trace. I waited nervously in the next three 3600 seconds, 60 times 60, because for me, each second is intolerably, unbearably, insufferably long because I care about my daughter, right? Terrified that something bad might happen to my daughter. The second just dragged by, and suddenly I heard the ringing noise. Ding, 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 ding. I woke up in the morning. It was a nightmare. It was a dream, okay? So this is more believable. I know a lot of you guys try to write something like that. Um, um, Probably you guys wonder what are the morals. So I think two things. Firstly, we need to be nice, even to strangers. For the beggar who want to ask for a meal, I just give the best that I've got in my home. And secondly, we shouldn't be lazy. And then maybe potentially, I want to show the kind of love between father, expectation from a father to a son and daughter or something like that. But let's look at the ChatGPT version, okay? So Leo is the only student who tried to feed her writing to ChatGPT or Google Gemini, so you can get another version. Um, and then let's have a look. Amy, dinner time. Would you like to try this radish? I asked gently, my eyes resting on my daughter's stubborn little face. I don't want it. I don't like it. Oh, okay. No, I don't like it. She snapped, said something angrily, refusing even to glance at the plate. Could you at least put your toys away? I pressed on, scanning the chaos around us. It looks as though burglars have broken in and ransacked your room. No, I'm watching TV, Amy replied, clicking the remote and fixing her unblinking gaze on the glowing OLED screen. I shook my head and let out a tired sigh. If I were Professor McGonagall, I muttered, I would turn her into a lazy radish. The doorbell rang. At the doorway stood a beggar. So it's another beautiful sentence structure. So original order should have been a beggar stood at the doorway. The doorway stood a beggar, thin and weathered. Like he has experienced so much different types of weather, stormy weather, or sunny, cloudy, or whatever, weathered. Quietly asking for a meal. Feeling a sudden wave of sympathy, I fetched him a bowl of Tasmanian cherries and several dainty pastry. As he accepted them, his eyes glinted strangely. I can grant one wish, he said calmly. I laughed nervously, then hesitated. Could you tell my daughter in the radish for 1 hour? Of course, he replied, smiling. Before I could rethink my words, he drew a wand from his sleeve and whispered a spell. In a flash, Amy vanished. In her place lay a plump radish, kind of fat radish leaning lazily to a blue china bowl. My breast caught, half horrified, half amazed. So if you guys are familiar with Harry Potter, you must be familiar with the structure, half and a half, right? Half horrified, half amazed. I reached for my phone and began recording. But when I looked up again, the beggar had disappeared, leaving behind nothing but silence. The next 3,600 seconds stretched endlessly. Each tick of the clock, tick, 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 hammered against my chest. What if the spell failed? What if Amy got stuck, between the two dimensions or something? What if she never returned? Then, ding, 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 I jolted awake, heart racing. Sunlight streamed, slanted through the window. From the living room came a familiar voice. Mom, what's for breakfast? On the table lay a single radish, untouched, you know. So I think the sentence is more elegant, of course, but I provided the whole structure. Okay, this is the first thing I want to show you. Maybe I send it to you right now in case I forget. Um, yes, Leo.
I think ChatGPT made a little mistake
Like what?
because apparently apparently it mistook you as a mom when you were Amy's dad.
Hmm. Ready? Where? How,
Um, go to the bottom of like the ChatGPT revised version. It says, "Mom, what's for breakfast?" I inferred that that was Amy's voice, and she was calling you mom. So it's pretty obvious that ChatGPT mistook it.
Okay, so I don't think so actually, Leo. But of course, you can change into dad. Normally, a father, mother, if they love each other, if they share the same bed, they should be staying together. Normally, I mean, it's customary for a mom to provide the breakfast or something, right? So that's why probably my daughter just say mom. For me, actually, I don't cook that often at home, so it's like my mom my mother-in-law or my wife who provide the breakfast. That's why it's fine. So excellent, Leo. So you're really sensitive to find that, but I think mom or dad, it's fine. If you just want to say dad, it's fine. Okay, this is my version. Actually, before I talk about your homework, I want to show you another one that I didn't finish last time. Can you remember? last time I promised you something like the ghost story. So you guys said, "Hey, Robert, this is not scary at all. I was expecting something more scary." Now, let me show you a longer one. So this is a story that I came up with myself. It's like around 1,000 words. Okay. So actually, I was trying to teach you something. Let's have a look. My daughter likes to play with me in a primary school next to our house. She rides bikes there, plays soccer there, glides down the spiral slide there, practice inline skating there, hands on to the monkey bars there. She enjoys playing there so much that she will stay there very late until it's almost totally dark. So this is the background. Why it's scary? Why did we stumble, into a ghost? Because it was dark. Okay. While she was immersed in her play, I always felt that there was a pair of eyes behind me, or rustling sound from the hedge next to me, even though there was no wind. However, when I wheeled around, when I spun around, turn around, hoping to find who was behind my back or in the hedge, there was always nothing to be found. Strangely, I seemed to have heard someone sobbing uncontrollably somewhere near me, like a moaning murder or something. One evening, during the Christmas holiday, the primary school was eerily quiet, probably because everybody had gone traveling. My daughter was bored of watching the ants, so she suggested that we should explore the campus further. Though it was darkening, I agreed reluctantly after my daughter's persistent pleas of please, please, Daddy. Some ravens were suckling in the gray sky, and the leaves rustled. Um, in the blustery wind, in the heavy wind, I felt the chill on my forearm, though it was summer. We walked deeper into the campus, and the only sound was our steps on the gravel. Scrunch, scrunch. Suddenly, the roller door of the gym rattled violently, and my daughter hugged me tightly and asked me, Daddy, what was that? What was that sound? Looking around nervously, I squeezed her hand and comforted her. Don't worry, it was just the wind. However, gliding through the roller door, a silvery, translucent figure drifted nearer and nearer. Ah, my daughter shrieked, hugging me tighter than ever. I froze with fear, but I still stepped up to confront the approaching figure while hiding my daughter behind me. Who are you? Who are you? I asked, shaking slightly. I'm Jenny, a ghost who has been haunting the primary school for 10 years, answered a cold voice, getting even closer. What do you want? I stammered, trembling. Nothing. I just don't understand. She stopped mid-sentence. She didn't finish the sentence, whining abruptly. Why are you crying? Is there anything we can do for you? I ventured. I offered. That's fine. I used to be a student in a primary school 10 years ago, but then I jumped off a tall building. She sobbed again. Why would she, kill herself, jump off a tall building? Why would you do that? I asked my daughter a little bit farther from my hug because my daughter want to see clearer. Um, my parents didn't love me. They just quarreled with each other every day, and finally they got divorced. But neither of them want to be with me. I was left with my grandpa, who a few years later passed away as well. My parents both remarried and had their own family and kids. I was not wanted by either or either of them. She cried uncontrollably again. I was suddenly speechless. I did not know how to comfort her because I had many arguments with my wife at home as well. I don't know about, your parents, whether they quarrel, fight or something with each other.
Oral a lot.
A lot, yeah. So sometimes you will try to question, you try to ask, do they really love each other? Do they really care about me? So the story that I'm writing, actually, I try to teach you something about human nature. Why we have something like that? So, but you have other relatives, right? Like your aunt and an uncle or something? I asked shyly, turning to check on my daughter, Amy, who was gazing at the figure non-blinkingly. You mean like Uncle Vernon and Aunt Petunia? So I suppose you guys are familiar with Harry Potter, who was really mean to Harry, right? She snapped. stopping her cry. Um, at school, I was bullied. They laugh at my clothing, my hair, saying I'm a savage. Then I would just bite them. If you say I'm savage, and I will show you I am a savage, all right? So, but the last straw for me was the new teacher who was mean and snobbish. He just cared about those, students, in rich families because their parents sent some expensive gifts to the teacher in Christmas. But I don't have parents with me. I don't give gifts to her at all. And she was mean to me. When she said there was going to be a parent-teacher interview, I told her that both my dad and my mom were not around and would not come. She just said, "No wonder your spelling and grammar are so terrible." I thought if no one cared about me, I might just jump off the building and hopefully I could see my grandpa sooner. But there is someone who cares about you. I blurted out. Who? Yourself. You are your own boss. Your happiness should only be decided by yourself, not someone who knows nothing about you. You know, we're all flawed to some degree. From time to time, we all lie or make mistakes. We need to learn to forgive and forget, I said calmly, gazing at her. It's easier said than done. She laughed coldly. We care about you, right, Amy? I asked, looking at my daughter. So this is the funniest part. So when I write it, I say, "Oh, my daughter, agreed, like something." But when I ask my daughter just say, "What?" My daughter wondered. So this is my way of humor because my daughter was confused. Why should we love such a ghost or something? After I died, I promised that I would stay in the school and hunt the teacher and the guys who had bullied me forever. No, you should let it go. This thought would be more of a burden to you than to those bullies, I said calmly. It is human nature to be selfish and greedy. For example, your parents are just like every other parent, including me, who love each other at first, but gradually they're fed up with each other, thinking they deserve someone better, someone more handsome, someone more beautiful, stunningly beautiful, or something. Or they just think everyone else should care about them. But your daughter seems very nice, and you love and care about her, the ghost retorted, resting her, you know, matte black eyes on Amy, my daughter. Well, Amy is not that perfect either. She used to punch me when I didn't give her ice cream, right? I asked my daughter. This is something true, One of my daughter, so I was showing her in London, and then she just roll around on the ground asking for ice cream. When I say no, she just punch me, something like that. Yeah. So my daughter just hung her head in embarrassment. But the bullies laugh at my grammar and spelling, she added. Well, I happen to be good at grammar and spelling. You can learn them from me for free. After all, no one can see you. And you know what? You can help me. You can do me a favor as well. How can I help you? The ghost asked in surprise. You can scare those who are dozing or daydreaming in my class, I joked. I tried to be funny. All of us laughed. Then, miraculously, the ghost just disappeared. Maybe the soul has lost her way. The lost soul has found her way home, or she was just around me, waiting to spook those who do not pay enough attention in my class. That's all. Okay, this is my version. Matteo, what do you think of the story?
I, to be honest, I don't think it's scary because
Yes.
it's more like it's kind of funny funny. I
Yeah.
mean, it's kind of normal at first. Then it's like 2 seconds of scary. Then it's humor.
Yes, because
Akio, I think that's enough for a horror story. I'm really scared of horror stories or horror movies or horror text or something like this. It's enough.
yeah. Uh, actually, I didn't try to scare you or spook you in any way. So I was a little bit nervous. It's like, oh, why should I talk about, committing suicide? What if some student learn from, okay, I need to see my grandpa or something. Okay, Robert, it's all your responsibility. So I was a little bit hesitant, but I still show you the story. I try to make it heartwarming you know. So you shouldn't point your fingers at your parents or anyone, or it's all your mistakes, but we should go to our own heart. Sometimes we're selfish, sometimes we're just like my daughter, we think we are perfect, we think we're nice, but actually we're not, you know. We're sometimes greedy, we're sometimes selfish, and then that's why I write this story. And then I don't know whether you got such a feeling, but when I was young, living in a poor village in the middle of nowhere in China, Anhui, you know, so at night, so there was no air conditioner. I need to go out, you know, to answer the natural call to pee or poo. So I was alone with myself. I was like, what, 5 or 6 years old. I was really scared. I saw a lot of eyes were staring at me in the dead of night. You know, I was really scared. So that's why I try to create something like this. Okay. Yeah, horror comics. Horror comics. Okay. Now, this is something I want to show you. Let's go back to your writing, okay? After Lily, let's look at maybe Naras. Mm, let's look at the mysterious box. One day, I was clearing the attic with my family until I found a queer-looking box. I was doing something when, normally, I was, you know, sleeping last night when someone knocked on the door. So this is like a set phrase or structure. Was doing something when I found a queer-looking box that I never saw before. So the best tense should be I had never seen before, because until that point in the past, you know, I hadn't seen anything like that before. It was red, large box with brown writing and a word mementos. So I asked my mom what it meant. Um, so one of the problems that Nara had is that she tried to overuse two words, then, and then, and then, so. Um, I think Nara need to look for some replacements. Uh, then the answer to memento meant, then I knew that mementos meant memories. Then I was too excited to even wait to open the box. So I open it, you know, open. I was too excited to wait to open. So I just change it, simplify it. I was impatient to open it. Just because my heart was pounding, like, actually, you don't have to add because, or just say my heart was pounding like an uncontrollable race car or racing car. I don't know. So this is your heart beating, uh, you know, without the muffler. So another soul. You see, I saw three souls. So. When I open it, a flash of a green light can blasting out when I touch it. So when you got 2-1, right? I would just say, however, when I open it, a flash of a green light came blasting out the moment I touch it, the instant I touch it. Then I saw toys. So I felt like, so my first impression was like, what are those silly toys? What the hell? What the heck? You know, for little kids, if you don't want to be so rude, you say, what the heck? HECK. Are they silly toys? Then I recognized one. It was the toy. Uh, it was the toy that I had when I was a baby, right? Someone try to give me something. Yeah, I said I'm scared of any genre with the word horror in it. Stop. Genre is like a type of a literature. Good. It was not an ordinary mirror. It was just a talking mirror. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? You know, because the mirror suddenly had a curly smile. It's really spooky. Then it spoke. Hello, what's your name? The mirror asked. Flora. I answered to the mirror. So this is not one common mistake. I answer the mirror. I answer my dad, answer my mom. I reply to my mom. So if you really want to add to, you should be answer should be changing into replied to. The mirror show me making uh, friendship bracelets, okay, with my best friends forever, forever, forever. Then I felt a sudden hotness on my forehead or forehead because I started remembering one of my friends betrayed all of my other friends and me, making me and my friends burn up. So so after that, the mirror told me, friendshipping with other people. What do you mean, friendshipping? So you try to transport a friend and send him or her away or something, friendshipping. So try to say, are you trying to say making friends? Or friendship building or something with other people can help you make new friends. I'm a little bit confused. Maybe Nara, can you elaborate? Try to tell us what do you mean by friendshipping? Sometimes writers will try to create some unique words. Um,
Making new friends.
okay, with other people can make you new friends. So making friends can help you making new friends. Are you trying to say when you make a new friend, so it will lead to more friends, because you'll be more confident, you'll be more skillful. Nara, is that what you want to say?
Yes.
Okay, so too many souls, this is like your catchphrase. From that on, I learned from the mirror that friendship makes you and other people make new friends by saying hello, hi, or do you want to be friends in parks? Like one day I asked a lonely girl if you want to be friends. So she just said yes. I was really proud of myself because I made a new friend. I learned that making new friends is really kind, or taking initiatives. Sorry, should be taking initiatives. Break the ice to be the first one to break the silence. To be confident enough to introduce yourself. Right. Learn that making new friends really kind because I made a few actual warm. Um, I'm impressed with Nara. This obviously is a moral that Nara herself has drawn from her own life, right? A lot of times we are desperate for friendship, but sometimes we're just too shy to speak out. Maybe there are a lot of boys and girls out there who are still too shy to say, "Hi, can we be friends? Can we play together? Can I play in the ball pit or the sand pit together?" But a lot of times, so we wouldn't, right? So like Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, created Facebook firstly because he was too shy to talk to girls and say, "Hey, why should I? Maybe I should make a social networks where people can communicate with each other. They wouldn't be so shy to show who they are. So I think Nara is sensitive enough to create such a story. Excellent. You just keep doing. But I try to give you some moral here. The moral is sophisticated because those who send roses to others will smell good as well. Those who bring sunshine to others cannot live in the shadows as well. Um, in the meantime, too many souls and too many thens are used. You can try as a result, as a consequence, consequently, shortly after that, before long, or undoing something. Undoing something means the moment, the instant. For example, on arriving home, I add some cherries, okay? The moment I arrive home, I start to eat some watermelon or cherries or cakes, ice cream, whatever it could be. So I'm doing something. So Nara, you can improve your choice of words by reading some short stories, like New Concept in Book 2 and Book 3. I want to show you something so other students who are not so good at grammar can read it as well. For example, I want to send a book uh, and all the grammar inside it. Um, Mm, mm. No. Actually, I recommended New Concept Inc. Book 2 and 3 to some of your parents. For example, Matilda's parents and Lily's parents. So Lily's parents say, yeah, we should try to learn that. But Matilda's parents say, oh, the book is too old to be suitable for Matilda. But Matilda's grammar is the worst in the class. So I would suggest that. So you guys need to make a decision yourself. I want to show you one. Um, Sorry, maybe 33, some easiest. You can just read the English story, okay? The not the Chinese. This is for Nara only, okay? Because when Nara tried to write a story that happened in the past, um, she just tried to use some words, so, then, and then, a lot of times. Um, yeah, should be 33. Now, Nara, these words are easy, right? Darkness, explain, coast, storm, toward, rock, shore, light, ahead, cliff, struggle, hospital. Now, Nara, do you mind reading the story for me?
Nearly a week passed before the girl was able to explain what had happened to her. One afternoon, she set out from a small coast in a small boat and was caught in a storm. Towards evening, the boat struck a rock and the girl jumped into the sea. She swam to shore after spending the whole night in the water. During that time, she covered a distance of 8 miles. Early next morning, she saw lights ahead. She knew she was near shore because the light was up high up on the cliffs. On arriving the shore, the girl struggled up the cliff towards light she had seen. That was all she remembered. When she woke up the day later, she found herself in the hospital.
Good. You see, you just saw one then, right? But they use all other phrases to connect the sentences. Nearly a week passed before the girl. So before, like, and then the girl was able to explain what had happened to her. One afternoon, there, a collision. So I mean, sorry, not collision. So you need to put them together. One afternoon, she set off on the coast in a small boat and was caught in a storm. They don't want to be caught in a storm, right? No one wants to meet the storm. That's why they use the passive voice. Towards evening, the boat struck a rock and the girl jumped into the sea because there would be splinters, something really sharp and dangerous. So you try to stay away from those splinters. Then she swam to the shore after spending the whole night in the water. During that time, she covered a distance of 8 miles. Early next morning, she saw a light ahead. She knew she was near the shore because the light was high up on the cliffs. On arriving, like at the moment she arrived at the shore, the girl struggled up the cliff toward the light she had seen. Because, when the tide goes up, probably he would die. That's why she tried to struggle up. That was all she remembered. When she woke up a day later, she found herself in hospital. You know what I mean? The story is really short, so I think it wouldn't take you too long a time. Yes, Leo?
Um, I've got a question because it's right there on the screen. It says, "Why was the girl in hospital?" I th I was like thinking about it, and I'm not sure what the answer really is because the most likely reason is that she fainted. That's why she's in hospital.
Yeah, she was too exhausted, I think. She stayed, in the water for a whole night, She must be really cold, exhausted, didn't have any food, and she stayed in the water for a whole night, and then she swam like how many 8 miles. That's quite a distance, and then she was too exhausted, so she just fainted, and then she found herself in hospital. Um, all right, let's look at Leo's homework, okay?
I don't mind sharing it.
Let's have a look. The sign said, "Look, there is an interesting sign over there." I shouted, "Whilst, beautiful, whereas, or whilst, this is more academic. Sitting in my family's car." Yes, Leo.
Um, I want to share it, but I'm a bit nervous in sharing it in front of the whole class, but I think you can keep on reading it. Go on.
Okay, then do you mind? I just read this, the another version, not yours.
Nah, it's okay. You can read my version.
Okay. Don't worry. Others can learn from the mistakes, okay? I'm not reading this to humiliate you, okay? Because other students' mistakes is more obvious than yours. This car was not a regular car. It was a high-tech car that looked like a normal car. Not a regular car that looked like a normal car. So a little bit repetitive. That's why I say it was a high technology car disguised as a normal car, as an ordinary car or something. And we were using it to drive to Sydney for holiday. Just now, I had spotted a green sign that said last fuel for 500 kilometers. Yeah, this is exactly the prompt. My mom told me not to care about it because our car still had lots of fuel. So it's better for you to say therefore. Or you don't use the comma here. So we drove past. Um, I mean, this verb is not strong. So you say zoom past or we sneered at the petrol station and continued on our journey to Sydney. Unfortunately, when we had driven, drive, drove, driven, right? This is the irregular verb for PP, past participle, should be driven. We had driven another 500 kilometers, 400 kilometers. The car began to splatter, and it started to slow down. I realized what was happening straight away. We had run out of fuel. If you run out of fuel, I wouldn't say the car would splatter. So maybe something wrong with the engine. You make some sounds like that. Dad quickly pulled the car over. Nice word to the emergency lane as the car speed decreased and decreased. By the time we reached the emergency lane, our car had stopped completely. Luckily, Dad found not a, emergency, an emergency fuel button. Unluckily, the emergency fuel could only last us for another 99.5 kilometers, but my dad wasn't discouraged. This is a double negative, was not discouraged. He said that he could walk the remaining 500 meters to the nearest petrol station when our emergency fuel ran out. Now that plan was in place. It was go time. My dad pressed the emergency fuel button and our car started up tong 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 again. Dad drove the car onto the highway and we continued for another 99.5 kilometers. When our car's emergency fuel ran out, Dad pulled over onto the emergency lane again and walked the remaining 500 meters to the nearest petrol station. When he came back, he was carrying a 20-liter fuel container that was filled with petrol. Man, that was hard work, he said while he put the petrol into the car's engine. Normally, we don't put the petrol directly into the engine, right? Like,
I couldn't think of any other word. I never knew that we
yeah,
pour the oil into an oil tank, not the literal engine.
yeah. You
Otherwise,
know
it's
what?
gonna break.
Yeah, you know what, Leo? Maybe you will put the engine oil directly into the engine, the engine oil. Um, Um, we really need to get supplies to avoid problem like this that simply require supplies in the future. Okay.
I didn't know really how to write that last bit of dialogue because I couldn't because I knew what because you see I I knew what I was going to write. I was like thinking about it and I knew but I couldn't like convey what I was thinking into the text. So yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't really know how to put my idea into the text, so I could only just write like this.
Okay. So let me tell you something, Leo. The last sentence should be something like what Lily had wrote, right? So they went out to play without realizing the box was moving suddenly, So this kind of ending must be suspenseful and imaginative. So can you guys help Leo to think of a creative ending? Sometimes um, with a moral in it, and then it need to be funny as well. Can you remember the ending that I had? Like a never be shy, just have a try, never say that I'm gonna fly high, high in the sky, something like that. Or, the ghost just disappeared. Maybe it is still invisible inside the classroom, trying to scare you if you didn't pay any attention or something like that. Um, I was, I mean, can you guys,
But
yes, Leo, can you think of another a version of the ending, kind of be
the,
funny or
the Google AI just gave me some like
yeah,
twist
yeah,
endings, like
yeah, yeah.
something about the car's AI, like
Yeah, I know, I know, I know, I know.
like as soon as Dad leaves, the car's the car's screen AI screen just turns pink, and it says that they could really wait for another car to
Oh,
come and help them, but the car just just w went out of fuel anyway, just to let Dad get some exercise.
yeah. Okay. Now Mateo is smart. So what kind of smart ending you can think of, Mateo?
Let's just say I have a question as well to Leo, but first, like, I'll say the ending. Like, I was thinking, like, you said you say like the fuel ran out, maybe, and then you have to walk. I'm thinking maybe you should write something like when he hit back, like more adjectives, and also you should add some sentences at the end, like like when they're driving home, you notice something different,
Okay, I know
and
you
also
you try to say, and then we went home, and then I found there was a note, uh, you know, in my car, uh, saying that like, I don't know, if you laugh at the sign, thinking that it's totally unnecessary, and then think it again. If you sneer at the sign, and the sign will sneer at you. So just like I don't want to talk about it. Yes, Matteo, what is your question?
like I
Ask
just
me
want to ask
anything.
Leo, like what, like you say that it was disguised, but you say it's like the car's different, but what do you mean disguise? Like
I know.
what's car is special about?
Um,
Well, Matteo, I can give you the answer. It's basically like this. The If you read the Google AI revised version, you will understand because what I try to write it like this. Like the apparently, according to the text, the car was like a regular car from the outside, but inside the car was all kind of like high technology things and powerful AI and stuff that couldn't be seen from the outside.
okay,
Yeah,
I
but
try
what
to
does that
Matteo,
mean?
I try to answer you. Okay, so Leo, actually had already told us in his writing because this car could give you extra mileage, like a 99.5 kilometers. You thought you were running out of fuels, but then voila, you got some more, but the 99.5 kilometers is still not long enough to cover the full distance. Okay, so let's have a look at the AI revised version. Okay, look, there is an interesting sign over there. I shouted, leaning against the window. As our car hummed down the highway. From the outside, it looked like a standard family SUV, but the glowing holographic dashboard and silent electric hydrogen drive told us a different story. We were cine bound. We were bound for cine. We were cine oriented or going there. But a green sign flashing last view for 500 kilometers. This is the cue or prompt. Caught my eye. Mom, brush it off. Come on, don't worry. Our car is fancy, powerful, confident in the car's high technology reserves. So we zoom past the station and into the heat of the outback. So this is a word so typical in Australia, like the depths of the central of Australia without any trees or something. It's all dry. The confidence evaporated 400 kilometers later when the engine began to splutter. The sleek dashboard flickered red as the car lost momentum, eventually coasting like a cruising to a dead stop in the gravel of the emergency lane. So I think Leo is trying to do some basic math, right? So 500 meters ahead. Now, the car had covered 400 kilometers. That should be another 100 or something. Emergency reserves engaged. Dad muttered, finding a hidden toggle. Actually, I don't know what it is, but it doesn't matter. On the console, a small icon show we had exactly 99.5 kilometers of range left. It was a tight gamble. Dad did the math, eyes fixed on the GPS, global positioning system. We were exact 5 meters short of the next pump. When the car finally gave up the ghost for the second time, Dad didn't look discouraged. He looked like a man on a mission. He stepped out into the shimmering heat and hiked the final stretch, the final, distance. 20 minutes later, he trudged back with a heavy foot or something, hauling, dragging a heavy 20-liter jerry can. This is another jargon. As he feed, the simple past version of the feed, the thirsty engine. The engine's thirsty. This is called personification, right? The engine cannot be
Personification.
personification. Good. He wiped sweat from his forehead and sighed. Note to self: next time we trust the sign and the supplies. Well, this is still too bland, not that memorable. So, action demonstration of an independent study. You can memorize and recite the revised story if you want to have a high score within a short period of time. The moral was not clear, and the original story was not that fun. Keep reading and improve your text structure by introducing something unexpected. So who has written something unexpected?
I wanted to say something.
Yes.
There there is like a very faint moral in the story. Like
Yeah.
it's very faint. I think that's why you did not notice it, Robert.
Yep.
But the reason I meant the moral is get supplies when you get supplies when you need to. Don't risk it.
Yeah, exactly. Of course. I got it, even though you don't say anything. I think we get it. So how to put it? Like a save for a raining day, right? For example, we have some salary, some money, but you cannot spend all the money. You need to save up um, for a raining day. What if the roof is leaking? If you change the roof, it's gonna cost you an arm and leg cost. It's really expensive. So we need to save for a raining day. You cannot say, oh, I think it's fine. We have enough reserve, enough oil, petrol, or something. It turns out sometimes, something happened and then you lost your way and then you wasted a lot of mileage or something that way. So at the end of the day, you were running out of petrol. Okay, so sure. We're talking about the something funny or moral. So maybe I show you mine first, and then I want to talk about others. Okay, Leo. Firstly, yeah, Leo, what question?
In mine, the sign said I kind of based on it on a real story. Like
Yeah,
once me, my sis, my dad, and my mom went to Mountain Bobo, but
yeah,
when we were going somewhere from Mountain Bobo, I forgot
yeah.
where we were going. Anyway, we didn't lose our way, but we discovered that our car was like running out of petrol.
Mm.
But my dad, so we went to the closest petrol station possible. Unfor
Yeah, sure. Leo,
Unfortunately, that
yeah, I found your story is really believable. It's based on some real life. Personally, I went to
was a
Mountain
real life
Bobo.
incident.
Yeah, I went to Mountain Bobo once, so I know what you try to tell me. And so
Your car
while
ran out of petrol.
yeah, while you guys are reading my story, so okay, this is really something real because this is what I felt. This is okay, the father, the daughter, there's a primary school next to my school. It's something like that. So, let me show you something. Um, did I read the ice skating to you guys? Ice skating? No? Okay. Mommy, do you want to go skating with us? I begged, looking her in the eye expectantly. I was writing this from the angle of my daughter Amy. Nah, I'm too old for this, my mom replied dismissively. Come on, Daddy is 3 years older than you, I protested, scowling. Um, well, maybe I'm too tall to find a proper center of gravity, to keep the balance. I'm too tall to keep a balance while skating, my mom insisted, avoiding my glaring eyes. So for those of you who are familiar with Harry Potter, there is another beautiful word, glowering, Glowering, Fine, I'm going with my daddy. The temperature today in Melbourne was reported to literally go off the charts because the chart was not large enough to cover 46 or 43 degrees, go off the charts, reaching a top of 43 degrees. So my dad and I decided to go to the skating rink located in Oakley. Something real. The moment I opened the door of the car at the parking lot, a wave of strong heat surrounded me, and for a moment, the air was like a shining bubble in front of me. It's weird. You can see something invisible, translucent, reflecting different colors. Um, um, I could barely breathe. My dad and I charged towards the entrance as if running from an explosion. This is called simile, right? The inside of the rink was another world. Goosebumps appeared instantly on my forearms. After my dad paid the fees, paid for the entry, we carried the two pairs of skates to the seats where we changed into the shoes while talking casually. Through the dialogue, I try to tell you some moral, okay? Amy, you see, the gentleman over there must be over 50 years old, my dad whispered, pointing at the guy in the center of the rink. Why did my dad whisper? I kind of say, look, he's over 50, he's old. And then the guy, come on, it's really rude to point others saying they're old, right? That's why my dad whispered. Who, so, the guy who was skating elegantly, like no one was watching him. Yes, Daddy. Actually, people of all ages can skate. I blurted out. What about those patients who may need the walking frames to stand properly? My dad joked, laughing, haha. Well, I will invent a game where patients in a wheelchair can still skate or glide freely. This is literally what my daughter suggested. I bragged, smile spreading across um, her face or my face. Excellent. I'm proud of you, Amy. Let's go. My dad jumping to his feet clumsily. So I practice with the penguin, something that I can hold, something I can hold on to for balance for half an hour. And then my dad forced me to get rid of the penguin. I tried to pry her hands off the penguin. Reluctantly, I agreed. Then, holding my hand, my dad skated slowly alongside me. We did just fine for the first lap. But in the second lap, there was a little newbie boy sliding suddenly to us, and both my dad and I were thrown off our feet. My left knee was bruised and hurt a little. Thinking that other skaters must be sneering at me, my face burned like the beetroot or something, like the bottom of the monkey. However, no one was even looking at us. Come on, Amy, stand up and give it another try. My dad encouraged. After 3 more laps, my feet was hurting so much that I just want to have a break. Sitting on the bench, overlooking the rink or facing the rink, I had another chat with my dad. Amy, falling or slipping is a part of the learning journey. Do you know why no one laughed at us just now when we fell down? Why? I asked innocently. Because all those graceful skaters experienced this countless times. Every new movement means actual risk. Even the elite Olympic gold medalist champions fell down from time to time. Actually, the more prizes they earned, the more falls they have experienced. People like your mom do not make mistakes in skating at all because they don't even try. Sometimes making no mistakes is the biggest mistake itself. Making no mistakes is a mistake itself, my dad exclaimed excessively. Oh man, sometimes I don't quite understand him. On our way home, while I was licking the lollipop, my daughter's like that, my dad asked me, Hey Amy, what have you learned today? Glancing over his shoulder, I was like that. Hey Amy, what have you learned today? Now, I will try to ask Shirley, if you were the daughter, Shirley, and then how would you answer, your dad or your mom? What have you learned today, Shirley?
Nothing.
Nothing. So let me show you how my daughter answered. Well, the ice cream is yummy. I answered absentmindedly, Why was I absent-minded? Because I don't care, okay? I was licking the yummy ice cream or something, looking out of the window. So while I was looking out a window, what did I see? I try to describe the environment, right? Like the warehouses, zoom, 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 past. And the cloud was like a big marshmallow floating lazily across the sky. Because, you were happy, and then you learned something. You got the ice cream or something. So the cloud was floating lazily. So how could a cloud be lazy? This is a personification.
Personification.
Beautiful. Yeah. So this is my story, So Leo, what kind of morals have I instilled in the story? Trying to teach my daughter, what are the morals you have got from reading the story, Leo?
If you're trying to learn a complicated new thing, you will like make mistakes and then fall down. But the most important bit of it is just to have a growth mindset. So the moral is have a growth mindset. My school my school talks about having a growth mindset a lot in our lessons and sometimes in other lessons and and yeah and yeah basically they also have something called a learning pit. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it.
Yeah, I think I heard it. Excellent. Let me ask some other students like Nara. Nara, from the story, what kind of morals do you think I have instilled in the story?
Try your best and don't like force yourself to do perfect at the first time you try. Just have a try. You might succeed.
Beautiful. Excellent. I think there are other things as well, right? Um, Lisa, what do you say? You've been pretty quiet. Lisa, what are the morals that I have so you think that I've instilled in my story? Lisa? I cannot hear you, Lisa.
I'm not sure.
You're not sure. Okay, let me tell you. So firstly, I think age is not a factor in a lot of things. A lot of people try to, cite the age as kind of excuse. Oh, I'm too old to do this. I'm too old
I'm
to do
too
that.
tall.
Yeah, yeah, I'm too tall to stand properly, so that's why I'm not suitable for this. These are all excuses. And then we shouldn't be afraid of making mistakes. We shouldn't be afraid of being laughed at. So, well, actually, for those who did a good job in skating or whatever, they wouldn't laugh at you at all. Um, all right, so this is something I want to show you. Let's go back to your writing. We we read Nara's, so let's have a look at Lisa's. Lisa just wrote the radish one. I just want to pinpoint the mistakes, okay? Burwood is primary school, so I think B need to be capitalized. Burwood is primary school, E, P, S all capitalized. When she was watching TV, comma, she would always lie on the couch, and then when the sky was slowly getting dark or darkening, it was slowly darkening, getting dark. It was dinner time. Then so here it is. It's dinner time. When 5 minutes passed, so after 5 minutes passed, or after 5 minutes had passed. It's getting late quickly and eat dinner. Dining table, so it should be dining. If you got double N, it should be dining table, right? So single N, dining table. She still lied. No, lied means you didn't tell the truth, right? She still lay, Lay. Mm, and then paragraph 4, actually, you don't have to say, okay, this is paragraph 4, right? I can count it myself. When years passed, she slowly became a radish, which had a big head with thick legs and arms. You don't have a lot of fancy adjectives. And and then you try to tell us the moral. And then at the last paragraph, you say people, especially children, should not be addicted to electronic products like TV or something. This is a little bit too preachy, isn't it? You should include the moral in the story, in the dialogue, not telling it directly. An iPad. So here, iPhone or iPad, you need to capitalize the P here, not I. And play sports, play music, musical instruments, right? Um, Replace something. The moral here is too explicit. The story is smooth and believable. The handwriting is neat. Keep up your great work. Yes, Leo.
I've got a question.
Mhm.
Isn't this literally like a little another version of the radish?
Uh, yes. I think there's another version of though. Like someone try to mistake the imaginary writing with the persuasive writing, right? So we shouldn't do this, do that. So, it's like a persuasive writing. Now, let's have a look at Shelley's. Um, did I, Shelley's. Yeah, I think this is Shelley's. Uh, I just read one, okay? Let's try this. The sign. Tom was a thief. He stole things sometimes. Hmm. Tom was a thief. He stole things sometimes. What do you mean? Uh, so I would just delete the second sentence, okay? Tom was a thief, that's fine. He didn't usually steal anything particularly valuable, but this time he changed his mind because he needed money to treat his mother's illness. He had planned to go to a rich man's villa and stole the most valuable watch, comma, which was valued $3 million. If you didn't have a comma here, so you try to say, like there is another valuable watch or something. Um, Tom chose a night with a bright moon because he believed it would bring him good luck. Really? He wore his black clothes and a black mask. He thought he looked very cool. It seems like you like to use semicolon a lot. Semicolon means it's like a compound sentence with some connection between the two sentences, but not that close. It's not like so excited that he did something or because he did something. No, we just try to list several related sentences, but maybe loosely related, not that closely related, I think. Um, when Tom arrived at 2 o'clock, 2 a.m., you try to say, his heart sped up. So you are like a god. So did you really see his heart beating? You can say something like this. Um, I can see his Adam's apple. When someone got nervous and then they don't know how to speak. So show, do not tell. His heart sped up. He was so nervous. When he was looking around and pondering how to get inside, he saw a sign. He squinted and looked at it carefully. Thieves are strictly prohibited from entering. This is kind of funny, isn't it? He was shocked. He rubbed his eyes and looked again. I'm sure that stealing will never end well. He was so frightened that it fell to the ground. He ran back to his black car and drove straight back home. At last, Tom gave all the things that had stolen back to their owner, and they thanked him and uh, comforted him. He also found a stable job and gradually became able to afford his mother's medical expense. So you know what, Shelley, you're like going extremes from one end to the other. Can you remember last time when Shirley was creating such a story? Oh, I saw the radish and then I was so nervous. I don't know what to do. And then I just grabbed the
Grab the knife and slice the radish into two pieces.
Yeah. So that story was kind of the other end without any moral. Just funny. We can still remember. Even Leo can remember the details. So that's fine for little kids, not for people over what, like a year six or something. But it's funny to read. But this one, uh, you try to focus too much on the morals here. That is not believable. Do you really think a hardened criminal, a thief, a burglar, or I just say, oh, thieves are strictly forbidden or something? Do you think that will stop? No. I think they have experienced something like that too many times to feel anything, to feel guilty at all. This is it's kind of hard, isn't it, to strike the balance, to make the trade-off between the moral and the readability. So your story need to be readable. I want to continue to read. So it's not that funny, maybe. Who's writing? I didn't cover. So I think everyone's.
Didn't
But not,
cover Mario's.
yeah, let's have a look. Matthias. Matthias got two actually. So I want to focus just one of them. I think Matthew's writing sometimes is really mature. Which one is it? Yeah, let's read this. I think this is actually better than last. It's quite too long. In real NAPLAN exam, you wouldn't have so much time to write something like this. The sign said no dogs, bikes, cars, bikes, or horses, just in case I was thinking of smuggling one of those hidden in my rucksack. Funny. It should have said no flies too, because they were everywhere. Hair, eyes, and the face. This is so true, especially for those people who are familiar with the Australian environment. You can see that the flies everywhere. Marvel Park, said Trent in his usual ultra bored voice. Marvel Park? Guess we're expecting to meet Captain Marvel here, right? Wish the sign had banned Know Everything Brothers. You try to say like Hermione, someone like that, Mr. Know It All, or Smart Pants or something.
Smarty pants.
Yeah, Smarty Pants. So if I were you, I would say omniscient. So who knows everything? Omniscient. I would have traded 1,000 more flies not to hear him for the day, but then I saw a teeny tiny puny winning word on it. Might have the worst luck. Okay, I saw mom sigh and straighten up on her rucksack. This is really beautiful, isn't it? So for those people who camped a lot, so this is a common situation. Normally, the rucksack is really heavy. He's straightened up under her rucksack. Here is the picture: a national park in the middle of nowhere, nowhere, no hyphen. The happy family gathered to hike and bond. Good. Missing one member, dad. Why dad is missing? Because mother got divorced last year. Dad, mom, Tran, and I. If you say last year, so it means something happened in the past, all right? So just went to Bali for the holidays. We had swim. So we swam in pools. You just use simple past, that's fine. You don't have to use the PP, past participle or something, the past perfect tense. We swam in pools, explored the towns, learned to bargain in the markets, and I laughed a lot. Then came the divorce. So my father and mother were divorced. The smaller house, lots of mincemeat for dinner. So I don't know, Matthew, try to be funny or something. For those people who are poor, they don't have any meat at all. You say, oh, we are so poor that we can only eat mince, and then for dumplings or something. And a visit to daddy only every second weekend. So this is something Matteo created, I think, because I know your dad and mom pretty well. They're not divorced or something. So not to mention the no expense spared family trip. So I know we spare no expense. So we try to put every penny in it. So actually, you try to say luxurious, expensive or something. Family trip to Marvel Park for holidays. Come on, say mom and set off along the trail. You can navigate. Let's skip a little bit, okay? Yeah, you forgot the moral. The last sentence. This holiday was her way of connecting with some of them. The only trouble was no one, no hyphen between no and one, okay? No one had really consulted us. It just took us there. Uh, Trent was plugging it into his table. Really, there was only one trail. How to get lost on the only path in town? I should never ever have thought that. You walk under the sanctuary of trees, smell the spice of leaves on the food, take random stuff. Remember, was mom's favorite word. I really like this. I really like this. That's why I want to read this in front of the class. Can you remember? Like, okay, Robert, you like to use remember a lot. So here was mom's favorite word, was my mom's favorite catchphrase. Remember the school concert one? Remember when you fell off your bike? Do you remember the Christmas when we so good memory. Somehow it was easier to laugh under the trees. It was easier to laugh under the trees. Why? Because you you don't have anything to worry about to worry about. I don't know. Even Trent was smiling. Let's so finally they got lost, right? This is like orientation, complication, and resolution. So finally, suddenly they got lost, right? And then Matteo tried to solve the problem by climbing to the top of the tree, so he had a clear way. Oh, that way. Then they spend next 7 hours. Finally, they find their way around. This is Matteo's way of telling the story. It's good. I try to read. Mm, we kept on walking for 5 hours. Mom had no trouble at all, but we were wheeling and painting. We were circling. We didn't um, get anywhere. Mom have hiked in the Grand Canyon. So Grand Canyon in Colorado, the state of Colorado in America. So you need to capitalize both G and C twice. Mom, Trent's voice stopped us. We are lost. His voice was flat. We had to head to the top of the mountain. An hour scrambling and sweat in the hope we could get a view of where to go. But the mountains are old in Australia. Worn down, not tall, and the trees still grow there, taller than ever, high and graceful, and hemming us in. We could see nothing. Mom shook her head. Somewhere there, I don't know, somewhere there was determination. So somewhere in my mom's eyes, there was determination, denial, and fear in that one small moment. I stepped forward instinctively. Were those tears in her eyes? Mom, who was always so brave, knew all the answers. Now her hands were shaking. It's getting late, she said, and suddenly I felt fear too. I looked at Trent. It was long in the afternoon. What do you mean long? You try to say the shadow was long. It's darkening or something. It's dusk. Um, the shadow was long in the afternoon, and the air was getting cooler. And that meant night was on the way. How long would it take to walk to somewhere? Any place that had shelter? I looked down at the ground. The leaves that had padded a walk. When you step on it, you don't make scrunch, scrunch, right? So because there is a thick pile of leaves. The trees that shaded us, these were the only things that would be there in the night to keep us warm. Not much warmth at all. Here, Trent suddenly thrusted his tablet into my hand and started scanning the trees around us. You are the tree person. Beautiful. So, are you a cat person or dog person? Sorry, I'm a people person. I like to communicate with people. But for Matteo, he's a tree person. You are tree man, okay? Then it's Superman or Ant-Man. You are the tree man. You're the tree person. He kept scanning. Then he fastened on one tree, tall and high above the others. If I were you, I would say tower, as tall as tower, towering above the others. Climb up to top. Was he crazy? It was huge. Why? At least if I was going to risk my life, I want to know why. Take photos, he said, all around 360 degrees. We can find some paths or this place we are supposed to stay. You might even get internet access. I shrugged and started to climb. At first, I almost slipped off twice, but soon I got used to the slippery branches. Soon I got to the top. I take all the photos I can and even took a video. You know what, Matteo? If I were you, I would add some background. For example, at school, my dad and my mom, the teachers always say I was too naughty, too unruly, like to, climb really tall, totally, unaware of the risk or something. But I still like to climb the trees or something. And then other people say, okay, the story is more believable. Um, Then I look at the internet bar when I access Google Maps and so find a way out. I took a screenshot just in case. After 7 whole hours of stumbling, we finally got to the car park. We stopped, double P at ED at the end, at a fancy restaurant for dinner because your mom was relieved, right? So what if you got lost and you were killed by those wolves or something? What is the meaning of your money? That's why you went to a fancy 5-star restaurant or something and drove home. We stopped and drove home. You don't have to start a brand new sentence. But I still cannot sleep. I'm thinking about the sign. Maybe it is real that there might be bad luck. Of course, but still, I said, lying down. We did get lucky to get out of there. It's a little bit bland at the end. So the final sentence is not that powerful. All right. So interesting and sophisticated. I think I like the catchphrase, remember, 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 so I think this kind of sentence is relatable. Everybody's think, okay, I had some experience like that. That's why it's interesting and sophisticated. So even though Matthieu's parents were not divorced, but Matthieu tried to imagine the different lifestyle that a kid would have, before the divorce. You could share the love from both parents, right? After that, so maybe the house becomes smaller. You don't have a beautiful house now. You live in a teeny tiny apartment or something. So grammar and spelling can be improved by memorizing, writing new concept English book 2 and book 3 stories. Matthieu, when I suggested a new concept English to your mom or your dad, they just say, I don't think Matthieu should memorize or recite something. She need to be creative or something, and then ask her the proper questions. And then your mom just say, come on, that is too old. But the question is, the English has been in existence over like what, 1,000 years. So the grammar rules didn't change at all. That's why we need to follow the rules before you can be creative. So that's my understanding. Hopefully, Matthieu, you take my advice. Instead of your parent, your father or mother's advice, because my English is better than theirs. Now, moral, yeah. Finally, I want to show you another story of my own. Ice skating.
Nope. Maybe the box?
Okay. I can read the box. Okay. Get ready, okay? It's my personal true story. It's kind of I cried when I wrote this because everything is true. But get ready, okay? My wife and daughter were fast asleep in the next room, but I lay awake, eyes wide open like an owl. The mounting pressure from my work and the mortgage on my newly built house kept me on edge. Suddenly, an idea struck me. I sat bolt upright and switched on the light before pulling open the drawer. Cautiously, I took out a crimson box from which I produced a shabby, black-covered Bible whose spine had been broken. Inside the Bible was a crumpled $100 Chinese note. My memories flashed back instantly to 70 years ago. Get out of play! Ah Fu and Ah Zhen. I had to do something at home. My 30-year-old granny cried, pushing my 5-year-old daddy and my 7-year-old auntie out of the gate before bolting it. Mommy, mommy, open the door. We don't want to play outside. My aunt pounded the door, but the door just wouldn't open. Desperately, my aunt sprinted to the next door neighbor to ask for help. My mommy was at home doing something, and she would not let us in. Please help, please, my auntie cried, and my young father was just standing there, stupidly. After all, that was a long time ago. My dad was only 5 years old. The neighbor instantly understood. He charged like a bullet to the gate of my granny's house and kicked open the door like a kung fu star, only to find my granny was hanging there from the ceiling, but still alive. After being released from the rope, my young granny cried like a baby. Without food, without parents, without husband at home, how can I raise the 2 kids single-handed? All of the rice and flour had been taken away by the government. It was years later that I knew that my granny had to steal and the sweet potatoes to feed the starving kids. Tears welled up and streamed into my mouth. Like this. It tasted a little bit bitter. My memory flashed back to 30 years ago. This is my nickname, Little John. Is this word God? My 70-year granny asked me earnestly. Yes, Granny. I, a primary school student, told my granny. My granny was illiterate, and it was through singing the hymns, the psalms, and reading Bible that she recognized many words. I could still remember her teaching me how to pray before each meal. She would always stop me from grabbing the chopsticks to eat and ask me to close my eyes and say the words below. Almighty God, thank you for your mercy and generosity. Thank you for your amazing grace. I'm begging you to be on my grandson's side and bless him with health and happiness. Amen. 20 years ago, it was my last day at home before heading to my university. My granny was over 90 years old, and she could not even hear my words properly. She was just smiling to me, stuffing my pocket with the $100 Chinese note. After I rejected the money many times, she gave up. However, 10 hours later, when I arrived at my dormitory in the university in Beijing, I found the shabby Bible with the money in it. Ever since then, I would read some random sentences on some random pages. If my granny could make it, I can as well. Wiping away my tears, I closed the book and put it back into the red box. Yeah, that's all. So I try to flash back 3 moments. So like 70 years ago, 30 years ago, or 20 years ago, talking about the moments that I shared, the moments that my grandma, it was all real because I read some, memorandum written by my father. So I know how my family, survived and step by step, something like that. So when I read the red box, I saw maybe I should come up with some story which would be moving and touching. Sometimes I'm a little hesitated because this is so real that I don't know how to control the emotion. And then, but hopefully you saw what really happened there. And so maybe you guys say, oh, your granny was like a thief, try to, to steal steal the sweet potato or something. If you were in 1960s and raising 2 kids without any food at all, so you don't care about the morals. And then, but deep down, my granny was guilty. That's why she turned to God. And then she tried to help others as well. Yeah, this is my story, true story. So, yeah. But in terms of language, maybe it's not perfect. That's why I feed it to ChatGPT. We can read the band 9 and 10 together. My wife and her daughter were fast asleep in the next room, but I lay awake, eyes wide open like an owl. The mounting pressure from my work and the mortgage on my newly built house kept me on edge. Suddenly an idea struck me. I sat bolt upright and switched on the light before pulling open the drawer. Cautiously, I took out a crimson box. Inside it lay a shabby black-covered Bible with a broken spine. Tucked between its pages was a crumpled $100 Chinese note. My memory instantly flashed back 60 years ago. get out and play. Ah Fu and Ah Zhen, I have something to do at home. My 30-year-old grandson cried, pushing my 5-year-old father and 7-year-old aunt out of the gate before bolting it shut. Mom, open the door. We don't want to play outside. My aunt pounded desperately on the door, but it would not open. In panic, she sprinted to the neighbor's house for help while my young father stood there frozen. Actually, I don't like this. I think my description is better, actually. My mommy is inside doing something and she won't let us in. Please help us. My aunt cried. The neighbors instantly understood. They charged toward the gate and kicked the door open like a kung fu star, only to find my grandmother hanging from the ceiling, still alive after being cut down. My grandmother collapsed, crying like a baby. Without food, without parents, without husband at home, how can I raise 2 kids on my own? He sobbed. All our rice and flour had been taken away. It was only years later that I learned that he had survived by secretly stealing radishes and sweet potatoes to feed the starving children. Tears welled up and streamed into my mouth as my memories shifted again, this time to 30 years ago. Little John something. Maybe you can read it yourself, okay? Let's look at the last paragraph. Wiping away my tears, I closed the Bible and placed it gently down into the crimson box. The house was silent, still silent, but the weight on my chest had finally lifted. Yeah, I like this. I think the ending is better. All right, just so much for today. I will give you one homework. Hopefully, from reading those stories, you need to strike a balance between readability, between morals, and if it,
Reality and
yeah,
unexpected endings.
yes. So, all right, I'll give you the homework and see you guys tomorrow. I think tomorrow we will try to talk about persuasive writing. Okay. Matteo, what's
Moving
your
from narratives.
uh yeah. So Matteo, have you got any questions? If not, that
Yeah, like I don't have a question in the text. Like, why did your granny in the text like hang her up? Hang herself up? Did she just want to kill herself? I don't get it. I don't get it.
it was in 1960s. At that time, like my grandpa need to fix to dig the river, near the Huaihe or something. So my grandpa was not at home, and then it was my granny who need to raise 2 kids, my father and my father's elder sister, one of which is 5, the other one is 7 years old. And then I think the government or something try to punish them, so take away the rice or something, and then I think my granny was humiliated in front of a lot of people. That's why she just couldn't take it anymore. There was too much pressure,
So
and
she killed her. She tried to kill herself.
yes, in 1960s, actually,
Zisha.
according to the official government record, over 10 million people, okay, were killed in that kind of time. But
Zisha.
yeah, this is from the official government, okay. But according to YouTube or others, there'd be over like a 20 million people killed in that time. So if you don't steal anything, you would definitely starve to death. I'm not exaggerating, but you can talk about it with your grandpa, grandma, or you can read something from YouTube yourself. Yeah.
Wait. How old was it?
Uh,
Like
well,
how many
my
years? Because I'm not sure which
it
grandma or
was
grandpa should I go to.
I think it was 19,
Yeah,
19.
but how many years until now?
It's like 1959 or 1960, and then because my granny passed away 8 years ago. She died at the age of 97. It was a long time ago, actually. All right, just so much for today. Thank you, guys. I will leave you with the homework. See you tomorrow. Bye.
What
Wait.
is the homework?
Yeah. I will give you the homework. Maybe right now, okay? In case you. I know some of you guys have written a lot, because tomorrow we try to start the persuasive writing. I give you one. Do you think too much money is spent on toys or games? A lot of kids think yes, too much money is spent on toys because you buy a lot of toys and you just throw it away and you don't touch them anymore. But others, especially educators or teachers, they would think maybe toys or games are equally important. You don't just focus on toys, okay? You can also talk about games. You just look at the photo. Um, all right, just a one, okay? Nothing more. All right, see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
I still have one more question.
Yes. So other guys can go, okay? No, you're dismissed. Matteo?
Like, I just want to ask you, like, that's 50 how many years ago? Like,
Yeah, kind of 70 years ago, I think.
oh, I should might ask my 99.
Yeah. Okay,
Bye.
bye.